Hi everyone. Here is the Unit 4 Part 1 study guide. We're doing this to get ready for your test that we'll have in class very soon here. So this very first section says, decide whether the number is prime, composite, or neither. Put an X in the appropriate box for each number. So we know that prime numbers have exactly two factors. We know that composite numbers have three or more. And we know that 0 and 1 are neither prime nor composite. All right, so let's look at our numbers over here. 3, the only factors of 3 are 1 and 3, so that's a prime number. For 15, I can list 1, 5, 3, 15. That has more than two factors, so that's a composite number. 0, that's one of those that's neither. 0 and 1 are neither. 51, be careful here. You also want to check, besides those first few prime numbers that we've talked about, 1 or 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. You also want to check numbers like 13 and 17. So 51 can be divided by 17, so it is composite, actually not prime. You might be tricked into thinking that one's prime. 71 only has two factors, 1 and 71, so that one's prime. All right, now we are going to find our greatest common factor and our least common, or greatest common factor for 2 and 3. So my preferred method is to do the latter method. Remember, you could list all the factors of both numbers and find the biggest one that's in both lists. I'm going to divide both of these by 2 because they're both even. 2 divides into 50 25 times, and 2 divides into 70 35 times. Both of those end in 5, so I know I can divide those by 5. 5 divides into 25 5 times, and 5 divides into 35 7 times. 5 and 7 cannot both be divided by anything except 1, so I'm done. And this is greatest common factor, so I pick up the two numbers that are on the side of my ladder there. And so 5 times 2 is 10. So my greatest common factor for 50 and 70 is 10. The biggest number that will divide evenly into both of those is 10. All right, 18 and 42, make my ladder. I know they're both even, so that they both will divide by 2. And then I see 9 and 21, and I know both of those divide by 3. 3 and 7 can't divide by anything but 1, so I know I'm done. And again, this is greatest common factor, so I pick up the two numbers, in this case two numbers that are on the side. So it's 2 times 3, or 6 is my greatest common factor. All right, moving into least common multiple. We see that we need the least common multiple for 8 and 12. Again, I'm going to use that ladder method. Least common multiple means I want the smallest number that's a multiple of both of these two numbers. So I'm expecting it to at least be one of these numbers or bigger. All right, so I see that both of these divide by 2 because they're even. And again, they're even. They both divide by 2. 2 and 3 can't divide anymore by the same number except for 1, so I'm done. But with least common multiple, I want to remember to pick up like an L. We want to pick up all the numbers. So my least common multiple is 2 times 2 times 3. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 3 is 24. So my least common multiple, the smallest number that both 8 and 12 will divide into evenly, is 24. All right, 5 and 8. Oh, I can't divide 5 and 8 by anything common except for 1. It's the only number that will go into both of those. We could divide 5 by 5, but we can't divide 8 by 5. And we could divide 8 by 2, but we can't, or 4, but we can't divide those into 5. So 1 divided into 5 is 5, and 8. And then my least common multiple will be just whatever the answer to 5 times 8 is. So 1 times 5 times 8. It's going to give me 40. So my least common multiple for 5 and 8 is 40. All right, I'm going to pause this video here for you if you want to look those over or the rest of the problems, and tune into the next video for the next set of problems.